In this video, I'm going to be talking about my Nykaa Pink Summer Sale recommendations. I do this very often, but this is my first sale recommendation for this year. I didn't do the one that came in Feb because I just didn't have the heart to do it. I just felt like the sale was a little bit meh. Even this sale is not very exciting, but there are some offers even I am looking at and probably even I would pick up. With that being said, you don't really have to be forced to buy anything because these sales happen so often, and also if you're not buying anything at all, you're not missing out on anything, and money not spent is actually money saved. Now, if you buy something on discount, it doesn't mean you're really saving money, you're actually spending more. So if you need something and you have these in your wish list for a really long time, this would be the ideal time you can purchase some of these products. Or if you're just restocked but you don't really have any intention to pick up any of these products, you feel like my videos might tempt you guys to purchase something that you don't desire, you could probably exit this video and come back to something else, which would also be product recommendations mostly, but you know what I mean. But yeah, anyways, with that being said, let's get started with the video. I thought of multiple ways I could film this. What are the must-have products I should recommend? But then I have so many products that I really like, and some of them are coming on pretty good discounts, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up of most of the products. So I'm going to be doing it category wise, like primers, foundations and all of that, and you can pick and choose the one you really like. I'm not going with this brand wise because I'm not very impressed with some of the brand deals, but some individual product sales are also something that caught my attention, and some things I just have one product from a certain brand, so I can't really include it in anything else. Now, this is the second time I'm filming this video, so yay, good luck to me. I've started filming this at 5 in the morning because I filmed the video all the way up until midnight, and then I realized that I had lipstick on my teeth, and not just a dot, like all of my teeth. So I went to bed, got up early in the morning to refilm this video. So yay, second time is a charm. When it comes to primers, you guys know me, I have my favorite. So the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer is one of the best primers I've ever used in my entire life, and you can see how much of this I've used up. I would definitely repurchase this once I'm out of this one. I don't really like this one as much as I like the blue one. For some reason, I like the blue finish a little bit more. It gives me a little bit more of a glowy finish. So if you're someone with oily skin and don't really like that glowy finish, you can try out the pink one. And both of these are very, very similar in terms of the adhering capacity and how sticky they can get, but I've never had a problem with a single product not blending on top of this. So these are my favorite primers. I cannot live without this primer. I don't know if you guys understand how dependent I am on this primer. Like, if e.l.f. was to discontinue this, it would change the way my makeup looks, because every makeup I've put on top of this just looks a little bit nicer. It makes it look so much more polished, so much more seamless, and the makeup just holds on and you don't really have to use a ton of powder. Another primer also from e.l.f. is this liquid poreless putty primer. This is a nice pore blurring primer. You can use all over your face as well, and it's also a little bit mattifying. It's not like extremely drying on your face, but also a little bit mattifying. So if you have oily skin, you can try this one out, as opposed to some primers like this. This is also good. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Blur primer, but I cannot use this all over my face. It's a little too mattifying for my liking. But again, like I mentioned, if you don't really have dry skin, you can try this out all over your face. It is very blurring, but also can clog your pores. Most Huda Beauty products are notorious for that. I don't know why. I mean, it doesn't have fragrance and it doesn't have silicone, but it still clogs my pores. I have a breakout every single time I use this primer, but it is pretty good. Over this, I would recommend the e.l.f. one any day. Now, and then moving on to skin tints, my recent favorite discovery is this L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Tinted Serum. I absolutely love this. This doesn't have a very dewy finish, even though when I was reading about it online, it mentioned a lot of dewy words, but it doesn't really have a dewy finish, but it's also not extremely drying matte. It doesn't look powdery on your skin, but it's a matte serum and it gives you pretty good coverage. I have this one in the shade Tan, which is a really good match for my skin tone because it's not a very pigmented product. Even though it's a little bit dark and orange looking, it doesn't look that way on my skin. The shade Medium Tan is a little bit deeper than the shade Tan, so if you're around my skin tone, you can pick up the shade Tan. And my favorite tinted moisturizer, the Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer. This goes on discount on Tira, Myntra, Nykaa. You can pick it out from the best place you like. This is a really nice tinted moisturizer, very light in terms of coverage, pretty matte finish, but gives you a very polished looking skin again, and it doesn't look like you have too much makeup on. It looks pretty undetectable, but the Nude Sticks Tinted Cover Foundation is one of my absolute favorite product if you want that very clean girl, polished makeup look. It just looks like you have something on, but doesn't look look very detectable, not very powdery, and beautiful product that I've almost emptied out. But this is my replacement for that. Like, I've been using this for past 6 months straight and I still haven't emptied this, because you just need a very light amount of it. But if you wanted a more matte tinted moisturizer, you could try out the Smashbox Halo Glow all-in-one tinted moisturizer. This is a little bit more on the heavier side. Like, it has sort of light medium to medium coverage. It's very long wearing, pretty matte looking on the skin, and looks beautiful, lasts through any weather condition. If you're living in very hot, humid climates, you can try this out. If you don't really want to use any foundation, that tinted moisturizer is a little too light for you. Like, in terms of pigmentation, this is the one you should be trying out. Just one thing I want to tell you guys, that this oxidizes a little bit too much, so get a shade lighter. Like, I have the shade medium, which is a little too dark for my skin tone. I would like to try out the shade light medium, but because I have so much of this product left, I'm not going to be picking up another shade. Why am I talking so seriously? Because it's early in the morning. I'm very, very sleepy actually. Okay, and then moving on to something that I also have on my face that is on a little bit of a glowier side. This is the Urban Decay Tinted Glow Hydrator. This is what I have on this side of my face, but I really like the glow it gives. Okay, I didn't recommend this in my previous video because I thought it was a little too pricey, but I can see it's coming on like 30% discount and it's worth the price. Like, when you get it on discount, it is really nice. It's very glowy. Again, you would not like it if you have oily skin, and it's just for people with dry skin, and I love it. And it stays in place. It doesn't look extremely oily or dewy. I like it mostly when I'm indoors right now, but during the colder months, I can see myself reaching out for this so much. I love the glow it gives. It has like light coverage. It just looks beautiful on the skin. And then moving on to foundations, I can see that a lot of products from Lancome are coming on discount. This is the Tint Idole Ultra Wear Foundation, such a lightweight foundation that gives you pretty good medium coverage. It doesn't look extremely matte or extremely dewy on the skin. It's a nice long wearing foundation to try out. And then also you can try out the Smashbox Always On Skin Balancing Foundation. One of the best foundations I've tried out. It's like a buttery looking foundation. It's thick, it's heavy in terms of coverage. It's not an undetectable product. It looks like you have something on, but it's extremely long wearing, beautiful looking on the skin, would work for all skin types again, and the shade matches in this Smashbox foundation is absolutely amazing. You can find different undertones. I have this one in the shade L30N, which I do tend to lean towards neutral foundations mostly these days, and these brands have nailed it. The high-end brands, usually it pulls a little bit pink or very neutral. This is a perfect balance of shade for me. I love this foundation. It just looks very healthy on your skin. It can mask up a lot of things. It doesn't emphasize any texture or anything like that. And the Clinique Even Better Serum Foundation, a lightweight foundation, like just one pump of this, it's thin, but it spreads so evenly all over your face, gives you really good coverage, looks healthy but not dewy. Okay, like it's a pretty matte looking serum foundation but gives you amazing coverage. I use this mostly like a mixing foundation because this is a little bit too dark for my skin, and also I want to add a little bit more coverage to a product. I like to use this one. It's a very nice foundation, not talked about enough, but so good. And then of course the M.A.C Studio Radiance foundation. I have this one on this side of my face. It's a foundation that fetches me a lot of compliments. It looks very like blurring on the skin, very smooth on the skin, but not as glowy as this side. Can you see that? It is not a very glowy looking foundation, but it just makes your skin look so even and like filtered. I have this one in the shade NC25 because I've known this foundation for a while, and it does oxidize to a couple of shades darker, and I felt like all of the other shades were looking too orange, too golden, so I just picked up the shade NC25. It's what I have on this side of my face. It's a very good match for me during the winter months, not so much during the summer months. I just wanted to show you guys a demo of it. And another product that has been doing all the rounds, and I think the ideal time to pick up maybe during the discount, this is the Tinted Mask Fit Red Cushion Foundation. I have this one in the shade 31N French Beige, and this is something again I use on a day-to-day basis. You can keep this very light in terms of coverage, like a BB cream, build on it to a full coverage as well. It doesn't have an extremely dewy finish like the silver foundation, and it doesn't really have an extremely matte finish like the pink packaging one. So these come in other variants too, and I have reviewed that in a previous video, and that's what I mean by silver and pink. So it comes in a silver packaging, which is very dewy and very light in terms of coverage. coverage, and the pink one is a little bit more in terms of coverage and also very pigmented and matte. But this is just like a blend of those two and right in between, and a very buildable product. And this is in the shade 31N French Beige, like I mentioned, which is a little bit deeper for my skin tone, but I don't really mind that because sometimes I feel like during summer months or when you have a lot of hyperpigmentation peeking through, deeper shades work really well. And then some affordable foundations, the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. It's a very beautiful skin-like foundation that you can try out. It's a little bit on the thicker side. Again, if you have acne, pits, a lot of texture, you would not like this. It's a healthy looking foundation that I absolutely love, and it's not something that looks undetectable on the skin. It looks like you have some product on, but it just looks beautiful and buttery. It's a little bit of thicker side. And if you're someone with very oily skin, you can try out the Lancome 9 to 5 Higher Matte Foundation, the recent launch from Lancome. This would work for anyone with very oily skin, humidity. This is beautiful. It didn't really work out for my dry skin as much, but I can see this work for people with oily skin, and it would look beautiful. I have this one in the shade Neutral Medium, which is a pretty decent match. They do have a couple of different shades. Comes with a nice pump packaging and a nice foundation. And I also wanted to include a lot of newer launches, so that's the reason, if in case you wanted to pick it up, if in case you wanted to try it out, you could. And then moving on to concealers. If you had to just buy one concealer, and if it's on discount, you should pick up the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I mentioned this in every sale video because this is one of the best concealers. When you feel like your makeup is not lasting in like the way you want it to, and you haven't like had the time to like touch up and or even set your concealer, or you just wanted to use one product for all over your face and underneath your eyes, this is the one you should be trying out. This is, you get 15 ml of product, and this is a concealer I can count on no matter what. Like I feel like my makeup is just not doing its best, I can count on this one, and it will most often give me that finish that I want, the coverage that I'm looking for, even without color correcting. Like today I used another concealer and I was just like, this is making my under eye area look very ashy, I just need to touch it up quite a little bit. I use this one. And if you have very oily skin and you want a long lasting concealer, somewhat like the Tarte Shape Tape, because that is not available in India, but this is the Urban Decay Quickie concealer. This is full coverage matte concealer coming on really good discount. It lasts beautifully. It's a very full coverage concealer, but just a little too drying for my skin type. And then my favorite everyday concealer, the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear Concealer. I've used this for the past 6 to 8 months, every single day pretty much, and I haven't emptied this one out. This matches me really well, and I love this. This is in the shade 62W500 Bisque or something. Yeah, I'm not sure why they've not restocked a lot of these shades, but this is one of my favorite concealers I've ever tried out. It just looks undetectable on the skin. It gives you light mediums to medium coverage. Like in terms of coverage, you might not be very excited about this product, but the finish of this is so natural, and it looks like you don't really have makeup on your face, that it looks amazing. So this is one of my favorite like high-end ish concealer that you can get on a really good discount to use on a day-to-day basis. Something from affordable range, this one is the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. This is a dupe to a lot of high-end concealers, even the Urban Decay Quickie, the Tarte Shape Tape. It gives you full coverage, pretty matte and pretty drying on the skin. And then another concealer that I feel like, you know, not even high-end brands could come close to this. This is the M.A.C Cancel Concealer. It's sort of matte, but it's not drying. It's not a very thick concealer. It's very light and liquidy, but gives you really beautiful coverage, very good lasting power, doesn't crease, doesn't cake, or doesn't fade away as much. This M.A.C concealer just had me like go wow, like I love this. And so many times when I feel like my makeup is just looking a little bit dull, I need a touch up of concealer, I use this. I have this one in the shade 05, which is a pretty good match for me, and I highly recommend you guys try this out. I haven't spoken about color correctors, but these are like my 3 favorite color correctors I've used. This one is the Huda Beauty 4 Filter color corrector. This is in the shade Peach, which is like a matte color corrector, but it's not very drying, it doesn't crease, it doesn't move, it just gives you really good coverage, really good color correction, and would work really well if you have oily skin. This is the Bobbi Brown Skin Corrector Stick. This is in the shade Deep Peach. This is like a very creamy product, but not something that creases too much. Also doesn't give you intense amount of coverage. Like if you have very dark under eye circles, I'm not sure if you would like this, because it's not a very pigmented thick product, but that also is like an added advantage, because it wouldn't crease as much or doesn't like fade away from your under eye area. I use this pretty much every single day, and I've almost emptied this one out. This is all I have left, and so this is also a really good product I use on a day-to-day basis. A good dupe for the Huda Beauty color corrector is the K Beauty color corrector. So if you don't really want to spend on that, you can just pick up the K Beauty one. That is also just as good. And the e.l.f. under eye brightener is such a good product. It's a putty product, so it's a little bit tricky to work with. It can be a little bit sticky, but the eye brightening effect that it gives, the coverage it gives, is just so beautiful. Like by the time you're done with it, you're just like, okay, do I really even need a concealer on top of this? Because it just brightens, conceals, and everything so well. I have this one in the shade medium tan, I guess. The next couple of products I'm going to be talking about are setting powders, and for that, the best set loose powder I've ever tried out is a Huda Beauty one. It works for all skin types, just makes your makeup really nice and long lasting, doesn't look powdery, doesn't look cakey. Of course, if you have more oily skin, you can try out either one of this. This one is a Laura Mercier loose powder. It's a little bit heavy duty for me, for my dry skin, but I can see this work for people with oily skin, and also it's a very long lasting loose powder. And the same thing goes with the K Beauty one. And every single time I mention this, I get comments like, I have dry skin and it works so beautifully on my skin. I don't know about that. For my dry skin, it didn't work. So that's the reason I'm mentioning that. It looks powdery, it looks heavy on the skin, and I'm going for like that undetectable makeup, that very smooth makeup that doesn't look cakey, that doesn't look powdery. That is the kind of look I'm going for, and the products I am recommending. So yeah, if you have dry skin, this just looks heavy. Both of this looks heavy on your skin. So if you have oily skin, absolutely can see this work for you. If you want pressed powders, powder foundation, I've got you covered. Okay, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. It's a nice finishing powder. It's not a setting powder. I feel like it's a nice finishing powder where you can like apply it towards the end of your makeup once you're done with everything, just to blur it out, just to like give that final touch up to your makeup. It's a really nice finishing powder. And a powder foundation that can set your makeup in place, just keep it long lasting, is the Estee Lauder powder foundation. It's not as pigmented or thick like a powder foundation is, like typically like your MAC Studio Fix powder foundation. It's not like that. It's not that pigmented, but it's also not something that completely lacks pigmentation like the Charlotte Tilbury one. This has a decent amount of pigment, works for really like less makeup, like no makeup days, and those very like lightly pigmented products. If you're using like a tinted moisturizer, tinted sunscreen, this would work really well. Keep all of that oil at bay, and just a very underrated product. And then moving on to blushes, my absolute favorite of late has been these blushes from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Pillow Talk Lip and Cheek Glow. This is in the shade Color of Passion. Plum sort of a shade, would work really well for people of my skin tone and deeper. And my recent obsession, the one I have on my face right now, is this Lip and Cheek Sunset Bronze Glow. So this is the shade that it is. It's what I have on my face right now. It looks really nice and warm. It's a little bit glowy. These have a little bit of a sheen to it. So if you don't really like that, you shouldn't try out these pot blushes, but I absolutely love it. I've never used this on my lips, but just for my face, I absolutely love it. My obsession with blushes just doesn't end there. I have this Bobbi Brown Lip and Cheek pot blush. I have this one in the shade Uber Beige, but this shade is not available in India. There are a lot of other shades. This is like a very beautiful dewy blush. Like you don't really have to use any highlighter or anything on top of that. It's just a beautiful dewy product that I've used a ton and still do use. Like from time to time, I reach out for it so much. You can see with the dent of this product, it is such a good one. Like it's so blendable, so easy to work with. And then my favorite liquid blushes are these Huda Beauty Blush Filter liquid blushes. They are so seamless on the skin, very lightweight, very easy to blend, and look amazing, and something I use pretty much every single day. Like the shade Latte is like my bronzer shade. It has a little bit of a brown undertone to it, and it also has a little bit of like a mauve tone to it. So I use this as a bronzer, and it just looks amazing. It's not a very long lasting blush, I have to give it that. I think in 3 to 4 hour mark, I can see it's like pretty much vanished from my face. You can set it with a powder blush and it will look a lot more, I mean it will last a lot longer, but I don't mind that. You know, I know, and I plan my makeup day, and I know that when I'm going to be out too long, I'm going to be sweating a lot, I just set it with a powder blush. And then these e.l.f. Liquid blushes are also my absolute favorite. It's like my obsession of late, something that I reach out for so much. These have shimmer particles to it, but they look very nice and dewy on the skin. They don't look shimmery or don't really exaggerate any texture. I have this one in the shade Suave Mauve, Bronze Bombshell, some of my favorite shades. This is another peachy shade, which I'm not a very big fan of. It looks nice on my skin. All of these do show up really well and pigmented, so I don't really have a problem with it not showing up really. Pat McGrath Stick Blushes, one of my absolute favorite stick blushes to use on very minimal makeup days. These have like very subtle pigment. This is in the shade Flirtique. Like you can see, it's a little bit dewy, very lightly pigmented blushes, and they work really well for no makeup days. Very pigmented, very blendable product. This is the shade Forbidden Fleur, which is like a deeper purple shade. Really nice. Do you absolutely need this? I'm not sure. You don't probably need anything like absolutely, but if you are looking to try out something from Pat McGrath, these stick blushes are impressive. This is a product that I initially didn't like, but off late reach out for so much because of the undertone and the way it looks. Again, not for like heavy makeup days, but if you're like going for this no makeup days, very healthy looking makeup, you can try this out. This is in the shade Ruby, which is having a little bit of that red undertone, and it looks so natural on my skin, and I absolutely love it. And it's not a very long lasting cream blush, and something from the affordable range that is pigmented, beautiful on the skin. M.A.C liquid blush. This is in the shade Night Glow, which is like a beautiful deep shade that would work for all skin tones in my opinion. It just works on your lips too. Very seamless, very blendable product. I can see that Nude Sticks is always on 40% discount. You can ideally pick it up like if you want to. Some of the products like these stick blushes, but they fade away in no time. The shades are absolutely adorable. Like the shade Sunkissed is like my perfect nude shade to use, but by the time I'm done with my makeup, these blushes fade away. That's my only problem with this. And then for powder blushes, I have this one, the Too Faced Velvet Crush blush. This is the Cloud Crush blurring blush. This is one of my favorite powder blushes of all time because I've never found a powder blush as blurring as this one. Every single time we're approaching the summer months, I start to reach out for this so much because it's nice, long lasting, mattifying, but also like blurring, not emphasizing anything on my skin. It looks like a very dull ashy shade, but it shows up really well on my skin tone. Of course, they do have a couple of different shades you can try out too, and it's such a good powder blush. Like if there was one powder blush that I recommend, it is this one. And then I just want to give you guys a mention about this. Maybe you can try it out, or maybe you don't have to. I feel everybody needs to own a one good concealer palette that works out for you when you are like changing colors like a chameleon, when you have like different shades on your face. This is the M.A.C concealer palette, which I absolutely love. This works out for me when I have like a lot of pigmentation on my face and I just don't know which shade is going to match me, and I've traveled with this so much. I've used this one a ton, and I'm surprised I'm not hit pan on this, except the shade All of This. It's just so good. It's not thick, but it gives you the right amount of coverage, lasting power, and doesn't crease as much. And another product just is good, something that I recently discovered, is this Makeup Forever face palette. It is pricey, so you can try it out if you want to when it's available on discount. I think it goes for 20% off, and with additional discount you can get it for as low as 5,300. Again, not cheap, so just keep that in mind. And if you are someone who can really use these kind of products, you can get it to blend, get it to like mix and match, then only like try this out. Otherwise, just don't pick it up at all. They have a lot of different blush shades again that you can match and work around, and these shades work really well for my skin tone. That's the reason I picked it up. This is in the shade Harmony 2 medium. And then now coming to bronzers. For stick bronzer, I have this one. This is the Too Faced stick bronzer in the shade Chocolate Caramel. I absolutely love this. It has the perfect amount of warmth for my skin tone. A very blendable product, doesn't like just stick around there. You can work around it very easily. Such a good stick bronzer. And the affordable range, I like this Lakme stick bronzer. This is very pigmented and beautiful. I have this one in the shade Neutral Medium. Love it. It's pigmented enough to show up on my skin, to work around, not very stiff, not very rigid. Beautiful product, very comparable to a lot of high-end stick bronzers. Now if you wanted like a contour wand, like if you want to try out the Charlotte Tilbury one, ideal time to pick it up would be during this sale. I love this Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. This is in the shade Fair Medium. It is nice. It has that slight ashy tone that works really well to add shadows to my skin, but it's not something that is too much. And also, even if I go overboard with it, it is so easy to blend this one out. It's a really nice product, and I just don't really like this packaging, but like I just hate this packaging. I feel like sometimes you just waste a lot of product, and sometimes it just dries up a little bit, and this packaging, like there's some kind of air block where you can't squeeze it out, the product. And a very similar product and very similar in terms of the pigmentation, blendability, the way it looks and everything, is this Halo Glow Contour Wand. This is in the shade light medium, very similar. So a good dupe for this is actually this one, not anything else, not the Tipsy Beauty one, not the Daily Forever 52 one. This e.l.f. is what comes close to this in terms of the pigmentation, the blendability, how lightweight they look on the skin, and how easy it is to work around these products. So if you wanted to pick up a high-end version, try this. If you wanted to try an affordable dupe, e.l.f. And then for bronzers that come in a pot, I recently picked up this NARS Laguna bronzer. This is the Laguna 02. I like it. It works out pretty well for me. It has a little bit of a cooler undertone to it, and it's what I have on my face right now. It's not pigmented, like crazily pigmented, but I like my bronzers to be that way so that I can build on it. I don't really like it to be like a punch and then I work really hard to blend that out, and it works for like natural makeup days for me. And this Anastasia one is also very similar. I'm not sure if it's still available. This is a nice cream bronzer to try out again. I have this one in the shade Golden Sun. It's not as pigmented as the NARS one. The NARS one is so good in terms of like it has that thickness, it has that pigmentation, so it shows up. But this one is a little bit more lighter, so you have to pick up a deeper shade than Golden Tan if you're around my skin tone, but both very seamlessly blendable bronzers. Then, and something from the affordable range is this e.l.f. Putty bronzer, luminous Putty bronzer. I have this one in the shade Daydream, I believe. I have this one in the shade Sun Chaser. So this is a nice undertone, nice product for my skin tone. It has a little bit of a sheen to it, but doesn't translate that way on the skin. It looks nice, healthy and glowy on the skin. Now coming to powder bronzers that I absolutely love, the Hoola Caramel bronzer. I've used this so much. The undertone is just perfect. The way the shade shows up on my skin is so good. It's just warm, beautiful. And also the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. It's like lightly pigmented, a very buildable bronzer. If you're around like my skin tone, it would like show up, but you have to work around. But if you're anywhere deeper than me, no, this wouldn't work out for you. The caramel one would. Charlotte Tilbury bronzer is something you can try out. Like if you don't want all of that, just wanted a giant pan of bronzer with amazing packaging, nice mirror, you can try out the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in the shade Tan. It's a nice product. It's so seamless, adds the right amount of warmth and everything. But these are a pretty much neutral undertoned bronzer. The NARS Laguna bronzer, however, is something I reach out for so much, maybe because it has a little bit more of a warmth to it. Like it has a little bit more of a red undertone to it, which always works out for me. And this is how it looks like. It's a travel size and it's more than enough for me. And every single time I use this, I just love how my makeup looks. I just love the warmth it adds to my skin. So if this happens to come on a discount, you can try it out. Otherwise, you can skip it. And then moving on to like glowy products that you can use underneath your foundation. Something that is very natural is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I've talked about this so many times. It adds a beautiful glow to your skin. It's not something that looks extremely shimmery or metallic. So you can try this out. I have this one in the shade 05. It doesn't have any pigment or coverage. So it's just a very glow kind of a product. A dupe for that is the Insight Radiance Filter. This has a lot of fragrance to it. I also have this one in the shade Tan. Very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury in terms of the finish, the shimmer and everything. It doesn't look metallic. It looks very natural. It's also a little bit like runny. It's not very thick, so this works as a dupe for that. But if you wanted something a little bit more intense and you're okay with that little metallic sheen and you know, something with a little bit more coverage, is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I have this one in the shade Medium. Make sure to get like your perfect match. I feel like Medium has a little bit more of a silver tone to it. So for me, I feel like it just makes me look like Tin Man. So I would ideally suggest you try out a shade deeper. It would work pretty well. And a dupe for this is from M.A.C. The M.A.C. Illuminator is very similar to this product. And so that's pretty much all of the face products I want to talk to you guys about. Now setting sprays. The L'Oreal 3-second setting mist is something that you can try out if you want long lasting effect of a setting mist. Like you want that setting mist to just lock in everything, remove all of that powderiness from your face. You can try this out. It doesn't really have a fine mist and it also is heavily fragranced. So if you're someone with allergies, allergic rhinitis, sinusitis, stay away from this. But if you don't really have any such problem and you can work around that intense fragrance, almost like a deodorant, you can try that out. But my personal favorite, something that doesn't trigger my nose or it's not like very intense in terms of fragrance, nice mist and everything, is this e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy dewy setting spray. It does have a little bit of a dewy finish, just like the name suggests, but it locks in the makeup and also takes off any of that powderiness. I also like the Stay All Night micro fine setting mist from e.l.f. This is more long wearing than this. It doesn't have a very dewy finish and a very good dupe for the Urban Decay setting mist, and also the Urban Decay All Nighter. This is like the OG setting mist. If you want something that is very long lasting, that just you can use this underneath your makeup, over your makeup, like if you can use this to prime your skin, prep your skin, and then use it on top of the foundation too. Such good products, but I'm also giving you guys a dupe, so you can try out whichever one you like. The OG setting mist is this PAC Micro Finish Makeup Fixer. It has the most amazing fine mist. It just locks in all of that makeup, doesn't cause any like droplets on your face, doesn't make your makeup fade away. So this is like the OG for a reason, and I've emptied this all the way through. I can feel it, like there's not a lot of product left in this. And then moving on to eyes. For eyebrows, I don't really have a lot of eyebrow products that I can recommend. I use pretty much anything that's affordable. I've recently discovered the Re-Love by Makeup Revolution eyebrow product. Where is that? Yeah, this one. This is in the shade dark brown, works really well, very soft defined eyebrows. I like it. I like the Insight eyebrow pencil, but those are pretty much what I use on a day-to-day basis. Now moving on to eyeshadows. I don't really use eyeshadow palettes anymore. I reach out for like few shades here and there, but I like single eyeshadows so much. Like it works out so much better for me. I have this Too Faced Disco Crush eyeshadow in the shade Mystic Pink. Absolutely love it. It's what I have like topped off. It's very intense even on its own. You don't really need a base eyeshadow with this, and I don't really hear a lot of people talk about it. It is so fine. The shimmer, it's a duochrome shade, and it doesn't have like chunky glitter and no fallout on your face, and beauty. It's just a beauty, you guys. Love this, and I want to pick up more shades in this. I know it's a little bit expensive for a single eyeshadow, so there are affordable alternatives like the M.A.C, Northern Lights, and a Pan. These are also really nice duochrome eyeshadows that I reach out for so much, and I understood that I'm a single eyeshadow lover. Like I love single eyeshadows. The e.l.f. Fine as Fleck glitter eyeshadow. I have this one in the shade Pop of Pink. Use any like rose gold or like pinkish shimmer shades as a base and use this on top of that, and you would have the most like beautiful looking eye look, and you don't really have to put in a lot of effort too. You don't really even need like a transition shade. I use this one so much and always get asked what it is. Like you can see on its own, it doesn't have that much of a pigment. It does show up on its own too, but it's a beautiful eyeshadow topper. And then moving on to mascara, like of late, this is my favorite mascara. I reach out for only this one, and I recommend only this. This is the Stila Huge Extreme Lash Mascara. On Myntra, this comes for as low as 1,500. I'm not sure about the discount on Nykaa. This is a beautiful lengthening and volumizing mascara that doesn't clump, doesn't flake on your eyelashes. Like it doesn't flake all over your face, doesn't look dry like the Huda Beauty ones. It's just amazing length and volume. Absolutely love it. Paired with something like this is the Benefit Fan Fist mascara. This is the only mascara that I own that gives me that lift in my lashes, so I like to use this paired with this one, and it's a match made in heaven. You don't really even need false lashes, especially if you have like thick lashes. You are sorted. By the way, I'm jealous of people like that because look at my lashes, non-existent. Now moving on to kajals. This Color Bar kajal is so beautiful. It's like a deep purple-ish kind of a shade. It's a Marcella, I just can't seem to pronounce that properly, but yeah, this is a really nice pigmented kajal. The Renee Midnight Cold Pencil is my absolute favorite black kajal. It's long wearing, it's a black, it's pigmented, it works. It just works. It's one of the best kajals I've ever tried out. And the K Beauty Brown Kajal is also really nice. It's pigmented. It's not that very dull looking brown shade. It's a nice brown that actually shows up on me, and I really like it. So these are the three kajals that I use. And then moving on to lips, I have a couple of different products I want to talk to you guys about. Firstly, with lip balms, I love these. This is the Wishcare Tinted Lip Balm. I use this pretty much every single day underneath any lip product. I also use this just on its own. It has a decent tint, and it is very moisturizing on my lips. The Indie Wild Dewy Lip Treatment, I have the original one. I have the tinted one as well. Like you can pick either one of these. These are very nice and nourishing on your lips. It takes care of like very dry lips to a great extent. I have been loving this Simply Nam Sweet Kisses hydrating lip balm. This is a little bit thicker, so if you do happen to like taste it a little bit, you'll have a very bitter aftertaste, but apart from that, it's a very nice hydrating lip balm, very underrated, for sure. And I recently picked up this Laneige Grace. Oh, why do they come up with names like this, man? Laneige Glaze Craze Tinted Lip Serum. This is in the shade Chocolate Frosting. This is a new launch on Nykaa. This is a little bit pricey, but I absolutely love this. It is so hydrating. It has a really good like tint that it leaves behind. It looks really nice even on its own or topped off with any lip product, like a nude lip product. Just a beautiful product. Highly recommend this. And then right now I saw that my lips were getting a little bit dry, and I always recommend this in every video because there is no product like this. You can use this on very dry lips. When you feel like you need that blurring finish, these are the ones you should try out. The M.A.C Powder Kiss Liquid Lipstick. I've picked up as many shades as I can of this because there is no match in this world for the formulation this can give. There are so many blurring tints, ink velvets and all of that, but nothing comes close to this liquid lipstick. Okay, it's not a very matte liquid lipstick, it's a blurring moussey formulation. It transfers a lot, but just look at that. Instantly will fix all of that dryness in the inner corner of your lips. Like if you have that inner rim, you have dryness over there, you just wanted something that can blur it out. This one. I have the deeper shades, so pigmented, not at all patchy. I have so many shades, but my favorite shade is Over the Top. It's a very beautiful nude shade. The M.A.C Lock Kiss Ink Liquid Lipsticks are also really nice. These are matte liquid lipsticks. They are transfer proof, but a little bit drying. I have these in so many shades. Again, shade Ponzi, very nice matte liquid lipstick, but a little bit drying. Some bullet lipsticks from the high-end range. You could try out the Pat McGrath lipsticks. The shade Flesh 3 is a beautiful, creamy lipstick. It's a very dupable shade, just remember that, but the formulation is nice, pigmented and creamy, and they come on pretty good discount. So if there are just two shades you have to pick up from Pat McGrath, it's Flesh 3 and Flesh 5. Like they have fallen apart in the bullet and everything because of the heat in my studio, but yeah, this is Flesh 5, which has a little bit more of a reddish tone to it, and this has a little bit more mauve. Very similar looking shades, so pick either one of it. Both really nice shades. Flesh 5 works out for a lot of different skin tones because it has a little bit of red undertone to it. It instantly gives you like that brightness, and you don't really have to use a lot of makeup when you're using Flesh 5. Flesh 3, maybe you need a little bit of makeup, like at least around your mouth and everything. From Charlotte Tilbury, I have these lipsticks. I have pretty much all of the shades. I've duped a lot of this. I've linked that video right here. But if you wanted to pick up one shade from Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, it is in the shade So 90s. It's not your typical brown. It's a little bit of a mauve, brown and everything. Beautiful shade. If you want a more affordable lipstick recommendation, you can try out the L'Oreal lipsticks. This is in the shade Worth It Intense. It's a beautiful, grungy, gray toned shade. Not for no makeup days, would wash you out, but a very pigmented formulation. I absolutely love the formulation of these lipsticks. And this is the Kiro Bullet lipstick in the shade Nude Garnet. This is a dupe for a lot of these lipsticks that I showed right here. Amazing formulation, creamy, matte, transfers, but very long wearing, not at all drying on your lips. I don't know what they have put in this, but this is magic right here. And so many people have commented and let me know that when they have dryness, flakiness, and just their lips were burning, it was like chapped and they couldn't use any other lip product, just this Kiro lipstick helped them a lot. For lip liner, you can try just affordable lip liners. They do the job. The M.A.C lip liner in the shade Deep Dawn goes with any lip shade pretty much. If you have a nude lipstick that doesn't work out for you, try out the shade Deep Dawn and it would just fix it. And it's a beautiful shade. For high-end lip liners, I like the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners. They are not too creamy, not too rigid. They work beautifully. They are beautiful shades. I have wishlisted some of it personally, like the shade Foxy Brown. And then from Anastasia, you can try out this lip velvet in the shade Parchment. It's a beautiful nude shade. This is the shade Parchment. It's a beautiful nude shade, and it's a little bit of a drying formulation. It's not as blurring as the M.A.C one, but I love this shade on my skin tone. And this affordable Swiss Beauty luster lipstick in the shade Twisted Caramel. I love this over any of the high-end versions of these. These don't really exaggerate my dryness on my lips. The flakiness doesn't sit on the lines of my lips differently, but I have adequate pigmentation but doesn't move around too much. Swiss Beauty has nailed it. Recently I picked up a couple of YSL products and I can see YSL is going on discount, so if you can try this out. This one is the YSL Candy Glaze lipstick in the shade Burgundy something. Okay, and it's very emollient. It's not like the Swiss Beauty one where, you know, this is like a very hydrating glossy lip balm like that. So that's the reason I mentioned that I like the Swiss Beauty one a little bit over that. This is also really nice, but you need to have very smooth lips. If you have even a little bit of flakiness or dryness, it will stick onto that and exaggerate it. Also the YSL Lash Clash mascara, it's a nice mascara. It does have pretty good length and volume, but not so great like the Stila one or a lot of the other mascaras. Like there are a lot of affordable mascaras you could try out over this, so I would skip this one. And it's also a little bit on the drier side, the formulation of this. And then the Maybelline Ulti-Matte lipsticks. These are the best lipsticks from Maybelline I've ever tried out. The pigmentation is amazing, the creaminess, everything is so good. Just try this out. Like the shade More Taupe, More Seda, really nice. I've swatched it in a shorts video, you can check it out. And then for lip tints, you can try the Raw Matte Juicy Lasting Lip Tint if you're an avid Korean makeup lover. But I think the M.A.C lip drip mist in the shade Cocoa Drip is very similar to Dark Coconut from Raw Matte. And what I have on my lips right now is a Too Faced liquid lipstick in the shade Making Moves. It's what I have with the lip liner Deep Dawn from M.A.C. Beautiful shade. And then another like lip tint that I love of late is the Innisfree lip tint. This is in the shade Red Brown. Very pigmented, very glossy looking on the lips, and also leaves a really nice intense stain, very hydrating. And the LA Girl Glossy Lip Stain. If you have very dry lips and you wanted pigmented lip stain that is very nourishing, it is long lasting and leaves a really, really good stain, the LA Girl Glossy Lip Stain is the way to go. Also the Keto lip lacquers, the Keto glosses, the pigmented lip glosses are also really, really nice. And you can try out the Charlotte Tilbury lip gloss in the shade Pillow Talk Medium. This is also really nice, very like juicy looking on the lips, and I love it on my skin tone. And now moving on to some skincare products. And then moving on to some skincare products I've been loving. The Ordinary products. Like I'm not sure if it's going on discount, but if it is, you could ideally pick it up. This one is the Ordinary Retinol 0.5% Squalane. This is a great way to start off using retinol. I use this pretty much every night. It is a little too oily because of the squalane in it, and it doesn't ever really like completely dissolve into your skin. But I don't really mind that. This one is the Ordinary Azelaic Acid Suspension. This is the second time I'm trying this out. If you have a lot of bumps on your face, I don't know how to fix it, azelaic acid is the way to go. And also the Ordinary AHA BHA peeling solution. Like if you have a lot of congestion, breakouts, whenever I have a lot of congestion and breakouts, I use this one. It's a really good product. It's actually expired. Don't be like me, don't use expired skincare products, but I still continue using this because I've invested my money on this. I couldn't completely get use out of this because I got pregnant in between, and yeah. Now moving on to skincare products, and then for moisturizer, my Bioderma Autoderm cream. I am going to be restocking this because I'm almost out of all of the Autoderms that I have. I've kept one everywhere I go pretty much. It's the most hydrating moisturizer I've ever tried out without looking too heavy and greasy. Would work on even full coverage makeup products. So I have like a bigger size of this. I use that on my body. It's very like nice, gentle. It's fragrance free and really good. You could also try out the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I like this. It's very nice, but it's a little bit on the thicker side. I'm not sure you'd like it if you have oily skin, and if you're just in a mood to try out something fancy, you could. Otherwise, it's a very skippable product. And then for hair, I wanted to talk to you guys about a few hair products that you should not miss out during the sale. This one is the Redken Acid Bonding Concentrate. I absolutely love this because of like the way it feels on my very dry hair. So I've off late been trying out a lot of different shampoos, which I'm not a very big fan of, and I stopped using my K18 and the Olaplex treatments and I switched to this one. It's one of the best products I've ever tried out. I'd probably just try out the shampoo and the conditioner too, because it just makes my hair feel so much more smoother, softer, and less frizzy. So if you have a shampoo that goes in conjunction with that, it would just work out so well. The Olaplex bonding oil is something I reach out for so much when my hair is really, really dry. Where is it? That's also something I highly recommend. And also the Olaplex serum, which is really good and pairs really well with all of these products. And for a sunscreen, I can't believe I forgot. This is the Tinted Sunscreen. One of the best tinted sunscreens I've ever tried out. You don't really have to use a lot of makeup when you're using this product, and it just looks so even. It has a subtle tint and a lot of different shades too. I have this one in the shade, I think, Beige. Like I love the finish and the way my skin looks with this. And with tinted sunscreens, you can be a little bit more generous because it doesn't really have a lot of white cast. So now moving on to some fragrances. First one is the Sol de Janeiro deodorants. I have these in a lot of different variants. I absolutely love this deodorant. I love these over the mist because I feel like these are a little bit more long lasting. Love the scents on this. This is my favorite now that I've been using. It's a little bit waxy, so make sure to apply this and rub it in nicely, and it smells really good pretty much the entire day for me. And the Sol de Janeiro mist, my favorite one is this, which goes in very well with the deodorant. This one is a Sol de Janeiro 59 Cheriosa. This has that, you know, amber plum kind of a scent, very nice, seductive, sultry, nighttime kind of a scent, but I use this during the day too. And you can also use this on your hair. And the Victoria's Secret mist, I picked up a couple of these during the last discount, and I didn't really like it initially, but I again started to use this. The reason I didn't really like this is because I've used this for the longest time and I've actually got bored of the scents. So I have this in Pure Seduction and Velvet Petals. They are very mellow, very subtle, but decent wear time, and I wear this pretty much all of the time to the gym. This shade, this variant in Pure Seduction is something I use a lot, and it has a very nice like floral, fresh, citrusy scent, and it just smells really nice. Like when I go to the gym sometimes at 7 in the morning and I want something that is refreshing, so I use this one. But it is a little bit sweet, but not something that's too cloying. Now moving on to perfumes, the Estee Lauder Pleasures perfume. It smells like a straight up like a floral scent, but it's a lot more complicated than that when you read the notes. It's so good. I absolutely love it. It's not something that induces headache. And then if you wanted some other perfume recommendations from me, which I can't really describe the scent on this, but I'm just going to try the Dolce & Gabbana, the only one. This is a really nice perfume if you wanted something that has notes of vanilla, coffee. It's a little bit strong again, and a very nighttime appropriate scent. Something that is nighttime and daytime appropriate is this one from Jimmy Choo, Choo by Jimmy Choo, I believe. And it has again a little bit of like that powdery kind of a scent to it, and it's a little bit strong, so just keep that in mind. All of these are a little bit strong. Those are mellow versions, these are a little bit strong. YSL Libre Intense. I love this, very long lasting, very intense perfume. So if you wanted to just try this out first, just go and sniff it somewhere and then pick up the full size. Don't be like me. I just winged it and it worked out really well for me. And Giorgio Armani C. These two perfumes are very long lasting on me. I love these. I just love this. And every single time I wear this, I get a lot of compliments, but I just can't put to words the notes and the way it smells, because fragrances are just so complicated, you guys. But yeah, I have a lot of other perfumes too, but these are the ones I reach out for the most, and that's the reason I'm recommending. And so yeah, that's pretty much all of the products I wanted to talk to you guys about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Let me know if you are going to be trying out something, if you are going to be picking something up. Let me know in the comments down below, and what is something that you are on the lookout for, so I can also check it out. And while you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.